Hi, this is Math for Real People. Now we are going to learn how to add and subtract with mixed numbers. That means that you've already done fractions and you hopefully mostly understand it. It's okay, there's a lot of situations. So let's talk about mixed numbers. I'm glad that you came to this video next, or I'm glad you're being forced to learn it in another class so you have to. I mean, either way, you're here, so that's good. So let's look at what a mixed number is. So a mixed number means you have a whole number and a fraction, 3.5. That is a mixed number. Now don't be afraid of these steps. Don't go away because the steps are there. You're going to do one at a time, and these last three here are the same as what you did with fractions. Step 1 is different, and step 4 will be a little bit different with the reducing. Besides that, you've already done these steps, so take them one at a time. So let me give you a problem. If you have 3.5 plus 1/5, that's only one mixed number to deal with, so that's good. Let's go ahead and start the steps. Change the mixed numbers to fractions. Now there's more than one way to do this, to do these problems, but this is the way that will always work whether you're adding or subtracting. So let's change our mixed numbers to fractions, and remember, hopefully you remember a little bit of this from elementary school. You multiply the bottom by the whole number and add the top. This is the new top. So this is what it's talking about. Bottom times whole number plus the top becomes your new top. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. That becomes your new top. You leave the bottom the same. I'm going to go ahead and bring this guy down over here because we don't need to do anything with him. It wasn't a mixed number, so you're done with the first part. Well, now you just have to do step 2, which is just getting the bottoms the same. Hopefully you know mostly how to do that. So get the bottoms the same by multiplying. Whatever you multiply the bottom by, you must multiply the top by. So how do we get the same bottom here? A 5 and a 2. What can they both multiply into? Well, in this case, the best thing to multiply them into, the smallest thing would be 10. You could use 50. That would be annoying, right? So we use the smallest thing that we can think of, and in this case, it's going to be 10. So how do we get 2 to be 10? What did we multiply it by? Oh yeah, it was the 5. That's right. So we do the same thing to the top. 5 times 7 will give you 35. And then over here, what did we multiply the 5 by to get to 10? And it was a 2, so we do the same to the top. So that becomes a 2. So now we have 35 plus 2. The bottoms are the same. We're ready to add across the top in this case. So we are going to have 37 tenths. Now reducing with a improper fraction, meaning there's a bigger number on top to make it improper, means you're going to reduce like normal. In this case, we can't divide the top and bottom by the same thing, but also you're going to want to take it back apart to whole numbers, meaning you're dividing. Remember, a fraction bar is the same as division. You are literally doing 37 divided by 10, and so you can think of it that way. So you can say, well, how many times does 10 go into 37? And you say, oh yeah, 3. 3 times 10 gives you 30. I hope I'm not teaching you this for the first time. And then you're left with 7, so you leave it as 7 tenths. You've just changed it back to a mixed number. So this is your final answer. So 3/2 plus 1/5 gives you 3 7/10. Okay? So same steps as over here. I'm going to show you another one. So here is one that has 2 mixed numbers. So let's follow the steps. Change the mixed numbers to fractions. So we multiply the bottom by the whole number and add the top. So 6 plus 1 gives me 7. So 7/2. We're done with that one. Then change this one to a fraction, and we do 6 times 2 plus 1, so that turns into 12, 13, 6. So make sure you've gotten that part down, and you can always search changing mixed numbers to fractions to get more examples. And now we need to get the bottoms the same. Well, in this case, a 6 and a 2, those can both, well, a 2 can easily go into 6, so this one can stay the same. They both can stay, or be 6s. You don't have to do anything to that fraction when that happens. So when you change that to a 6, you say, okay, well, what times 2 gave me 6? And that was a 3. So you do the same to the top. So 3 times 7 gives you 21. So now you're all set up. You have changed them into fractions. The bottoms are the same. Add or subtract across the top. In this case, subtract. So what is 21 minus 13 going to give you? So 21 minus 13. And you are going to say 8. So 8, and you leave the bottoms the same. So 8 over 6. So now we just have to reduce. And that means you're dividing the top and the bottom by the same thing. And in this case, I can divide both of them by 2. And we will be left with 4/3 here. So 4/3, some of you might be able to stop here if you're taking a class, or if you want to think of it more real life situation, you would want to say, okay, well, I am dividing 4 by 3. 4 divided by 3, that will go into it 1 time, and then you subtract 3 and you are left with 1. So it's 1 and 1/3 is how that is left, because this was your remainder. And you always put it over this piece out here. So again, I hope I'm not teaching you the division, because that's not the point of this lesson. But your answer when you do 3/2 subtract 2 and 1/6 is going to be 1 and 1/3. So if you want to look up more, search adding and subtracting mixed numbers, and you'll get many, many examples and things to practice. I hope this taught you how. Keep these steps nearby while you're practicing. Thank you.